It is Sunday morning, and you know what that means. It's time for this sick podcast. We have Ravens versus Browns preview. A whole lot has changed for the Browns, of course, right? New quarterback, new play caller. They're 1-6, and the Ratbirds offense is red hot. We'll break that down. Tons of fantasy football talk to get to, people, okay? There are injuries all over the place, and there are lots of sneaky little starts we can plug in to make this week 8 as good as possible for your fantasy football team. And the parlay party is back. Joe Madden of SportsGrid is going to join me in a few minutes' time, and we are going to build the ultimate betting ticket for you. Let's get to the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. The sickest Cleveland Browns podcast.
Chubb runs, he's to the 10, 15, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There goes Chubb, he's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Shabba-lubba hub.
It's gonna be sick.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Sunday. And to start things off, you heard the voice off the top there. The great, and sadly now the late, great Jim Donovan, play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Browns since they came back in 1999. Sadly passed away. Jim is just beloved by everyone. I unfortunately never got a chance to meet him in person, but I know people who have worked with him. Friend of show, Dino DiNatale's been on a bunch of times with WKYC. My good buddy Matt Florjancic, when working there as well, just said that Jim, as authentic as he came off, he was as good or better as a man, as a person, helping the young guys, and just a joy to be around. Sometimes you see, the public persona, people act one way and behind the scenes they're whatever. Not Jim Donovan. Jim Donovan was an absolute class act, and so sad that he's gone. An absolute legacy he leaves. He will be remembered forever. Calls like that you heard off the top, we're going to make sure that stays for at least the rest of the season, just to remember the great Jim Donovan. Personally, I took from Jim when I call pro football, whether it's Canadian Football League, European Football League, whatever. I listened to Jim and it picked up some nuggets just on the description, what he was able to do. Just so beautifully painted is he able to put that picture in your mind, which is the whole point of the radio broadcast, right? That's why personally I love the radio play-by-play better, because you're able to control and paint the picture. And when Jim was speaking, you could feel that emotion, the energy, like you were there. You could picture all the players on the field. He did that wonderfully, as good as anybody. And just so sad that Jim Donovan is gone. So RIP to the great Jim Donovan. You'll never, ever, ever be forgotten. And we love you, Jim. So RIP Jim Donovan. And now we look to the Browns, who will be hosting the Baltimore Ravens. And this time last week, I was at the stadium. Beautiful day. Oh my gosh, we had great seats, folks. Section 535. Holy cow, we're right at the 35, 40 yard line. Just sensational seats. Unfortunately, that was about as good as it got. Okay, we saw Nick Chubb come back. That was awesome. Touchdown, the live, a hot day. But the rest, Deshaun Watson and oh boy, what a mess. What a mess. But what we look at is, all right, now you have Jameis Winston in. That's fine with me. Dorian Thompson-Robinson looks like he's going to be a game-time decision when it comes to his finger on the throwing hand, whether he can be a backup or not. You signed Bailey Zappi from the practice squad. All right. Great. Before we get too far into it, make sure you're clicking subscribe, notifications on, share the link. We're live on X at SickPodBrowns. We're live on YouTube. Click subscribe, notifications on, at SickPodBrowns on X, at AndyMC81. And you have a chance, if you're going to be in Cleveland this Wednesday and you're a wrestling fan. You guys have heard me talk about this for a long time. All Elite Wrestling, AEW, is coming. It's Fright Night. Fright Night Dynamite. Wednesday at the Wolstein Center in downtown Cleveland. I got 2 tickets to give away. 2 tickets to give away. The pinned post on X at SickPodBrowns is there. That's how you enter. Tells you there. You just follow at AndyMC81, follow at AEW. Tag 2 friends, repost. If you can get there, I'm going to be giving the tickets away later tonight, later Sunday night. So you got one more pretty much full day to enter if you can be in Cleveland at the Wolstein Center. It's going to be a phenomenal show. The card is absolutely stacked. And on Tuesday's show, we're going to be interviewing one of the stars of AEW, Chris Statlander, one of the toughest. If you haven't seen AEW, Chris Statlander is absolute money. She's phenomenal. We're going to interview her to get ready for that show on Tuesday's episode. So stay tuned for that. Going to be a ton of fun. Instagram as well at AndyMC Sports. Make sure you give a follow there. Now, the perplexing part to me about this Browns game is not that Jameis Winston plays. It makes sense, obviously, right? It's why the hell do you have Ken Dorsey calling the plays now when Dorsey was brought in to fix, so well that went, Deshaun Watson. Jameis Winston is better suited to run the traditional Kevin Stefanski offense. So why do you have Ken Dorsey calling plays for Jameis Winston? This whole season is absolutely ridiculous. It almost seems like self-sabotage for the Browns. Oh, by the way, it looks like DeJuan Jones, for some reason, is going to be the starting left tackle because Jed Wills can't stay healthy with that knee again. Get Jed Wills out of here. We will address Andrew Berry's draft pick situation and signing situation in more detail in the coming weeks because, guys, the more I look into this, I honestly don't think Andrew Berry should be back. He got signed to an extension. I'm sure he will. It has to start at the top, though, with Paul DePodesta. He's got to go. But these picks and signings by Andrew Berry, guys, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Jed Wills, Quentin Jefferson, that was your big D tackle sign. The guy's been a healthy scratch. What the hell's going on there? Michael Hall gets in legal trouble. I haven't heard boo from him. What are we looking at? Look at all the signings and draft picks outside of JOK. And I'll give him credit. Alex Wright was good before he tore his tricep. Alex Wright was good. In Rising. But overall, just wretched. It's a terrible look. And now we're going to see, okay, what does this Jameis Winston signing? Because Jameis Winston succeeding and in some quarterback capacity, whatever combo, matching what the Browns did last year would be a much bigger surprise than what Joe Flacco did. The main thing, of course, is, again, the discipline. These stupid illegal shifts. We saw some. Seeing it in person, ridiculous. Ridiculous. All these penalties, you just get in your way. Does Jameis Winston help that? It just seemed like there was a negative cloud over this whole team. Winston seems like a fun guy. So does his energy, does his joy of the game loosen things up? Maybe. But we don't know what to expect for Ken Dorsey. So if we're picking like a line on this game, betting on the line, we'll have Joe Madden on in a few minutes to set up our betting ticket from Sports Grid TV. It's almost impossible to predict because we weren't seeing the Dorsey offense when Kevin Stefanski was sort of half calling it. So what is Dorsey going to do? Very perplexing. Oh, and I mentioned DeJuan Jones, who is looking like a terrible pick as well. I think he's not a lost cause. More discipline, like we saw in year one, DeJuan Jones can get back. Why are you having him at left tackle? He was looking horrendous at right tackle. You were prepping Jack Conklin earlier in the year to play left, which he played in college. Why would you not just do it the opposite way? Again, it seems like self-sabotage. Absolute ridiculous decision-making for the Cleveland Browns. I don't get it. And you have a absolutely red-hot Ravens offense coming. Like Derrick Henry looks unstoppable. Unstoppable. And of course, that frees up things for Lamar Jackson. Right? Get those easy passes. Zay Flowers is going to be a game-time decision. Hey, we got on the YouTube page, Rick T-Wolf in the house. Thunderwolf, how's it going, brother? Welcome, welcome. And get your fantasy football and betting questions in as well. We'll get to those in hashtag Ask Andy. If you're putting it in on social, on X, at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMCD1, use hashtag Ask Andy. Get your fantasy football questions. There's a lot of start sets. We'll get to that in a little bit. Also, your betting questions, too. Let me know your ticket. What are your long shots? Not just questions. I want to know what you're betting on. Okay, hit me up. I love these crazy parlays. I love the multiple legs. I got a multiple leg one that I put in. We'll cover a little bit later on, but we'll dive into that with Joe in a few minutes' time. But you know what, folks? We're getting ready for the game. We're getting ready to watch the Browns and Ravens and all the NFL action. And you know what? No matter how the game goes, at least your food can taste good, right? Your food can always taste good with Stadium Mustard. Our guys at Stadium Mustard, from ballparks to backyards and everywhere in between. Stadium Mustard is a smooth but spicy mustard, rich in taste and tradition. Ohio made. Stadium Mustard is real and organic, not manufactured. It was at the Brown Stadium last week for me and is every week. Sensational. Just makes the hot dogs, burgers better, deli sandwiches, whatever you're making this week. Pop it on, man. Even on chicken tenders. I put it on chicken tenders the other day at home. Really good. Really good. You got it all across Ohio, and you can ship just about anywhere. Stadium mustard. Get it. Get it. Pop it. Do it. You're going to love it. And a little shout out to our buddies at Cleveland Whiskey. They hooked me up with some bottles. At Bridget, man, you can see. Because of the brown, I had to pop a little bit last night. Have a little sample. That was last night. The Bridge in Maine. The bourbon whiskey finish with toasted white oak. Our buddies at Cleveland Whiskey hooked me up. We're going to be trying, putting out some videos, sampling a few of the whiskeys. Great on its own, the Bridge in Maine, and in a little mixer too. I made a little modified cocktail with some maple syrup, some lemon juice, some orange juice, little bitters with the Bridge in Maine. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So we'll get to those fantasy football questions in a bit. We'll keep you up to date on the start sits as well. The health-wise, we'll give you a quick little update here. Because like I said, Zay Flowers is in. George Kittle is going to be in. Deebo Samuel is going to be in. And let's see who else. We got Jaden Daniels is going to be a workout pregame decision. So you got to watch. There's a bunch of guys you got to watch like right up until kickoff. T. Higgins as well for the Bengals. If Higgins doesn't go, pop in Andre Yosevich, okay? Pop him in. He's had 2 touchdowns without T. Higgins in the past before. So we're going to get him in there. Bryce Young back at QB for the Panthers today. So not that you were too excited to start any Panthers players anyway, but that's it's going to be rough. Tua's back. Hope he stays healthy. Tyreek Hill foot is expected to play out of foot injury. Travis Etienne is a long shot to play. Get your Tank Bigsby starts in. Get Tank Bigsby in there. Jacoby Myers for the Raiders. Missed time with an ankle injury. Is questionable, but expected to play. Ladd McConkey, the same for the Chargers. We said Jay Flower. Bucky Irving. I got one of my fantasy lineups. I'm starting both White and Irving. Now, he is a toe. Looks like he's going to go. But again, we're going to have to watch right up until warmups. Rashad White's the preferred play, but if you got to go 2, go with that. Thunderwolf Rick in the comment section. Cade Otton should be a good play today. Rick, you stole the words right out of my mouth, my man. 100%. Cade Otton, I have starting him over Sam Laporta. I have him. Look, I think my bold prediction, I think Cade Otton could be top 2 tight end this whole week in fantasy. Maybe even the top 1. Cade Otton is absolute money because not just with all the other guys, there's Sterling Shepard, there's Trey Palmer, there's Jalen McMillan for the Buccaneers with both Evans and Godwin out. The other ones are projections. Maybe. We've seen Baker target heavily, 6 to 8 targets. Cade Otton, that could easily go up. Cade Otton is an absolute must-start smash for your fantasy team this week. And now we're going to get to some Team Jandy, baby. We're bringing her in. She's back from Sports Grid TV. It is Joe Madden all the way out in Calgary. Joe, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing this morning?
Doing good. So happy to have you back on. We earned this interview, Joe. We did it. We got
it. We got it done. So I feel really tall. Let me lower my chair. I feel like a monster there for a second. There we go.
It is Halloween. Better. We could have a giant Joe Halloween costume, right?
That's always fun.
You on stilts.
Excuse my lights too. I hit my camera on cleaning day. It did something, and all my lights are messed up. So I'm so bright, glowing like an angel, I guess.
Glowing like an angel. You know what? The wisdom you're going to project with us for your pick. It's just glowing. It's shining.
There we go.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win and build a lot of money today. I love having you on, Joe, because we always build these crazy tickets, and it's so much fun. Just looking overall, is there a particular game that is really jumping out to you today that you want to bet on? Like, there's a lot of different situations. Tua is back versus the Cardinals, right? We have with the Browns, Jameis Winston and new play caller. Is there any game that's really jumping out to you that you like?
Well, I think Miami has to make a statement win, and I think Tua is up for it. If they're putting him out on the field, I really do think he's ready, he's prepared, and Mike McDaniels has all the faith in the world. And we look at the Arizona Cardinals, they are off that win versus my Chargers, so they're on a short week. And looking at them in that game versus the Chargers did what they do, and they shot themselves in the foot, gave that game back to Arizona. So I do think while Kyler Murray played well in that one. You look here at Miami against this defense, it's going to be hard for Kyler Murray to get those passing touchdowns on the board. He's going to struggle to move that ball down the field. So I could see Miami winning this one by double digits.
Yeah, you know what? It's in Miami as well. And Dolphins only a 4.5-point favorite. So I think definitely maybe this is an alternate spread game. You're thinking maybe 10.
Yeah, I am thinking alt spread in this one. I would lay the 9.5, have them win by double digits. So
all right, there
don't get greedy laying 10.5, but 9.5 I'm confident with.
Okay, there. You know what? There we go. Let's pop that in. The first ticket we're getting alternate spread Dolphins over the Arizona Cardinals. I'm totally with you there. Let's go to Jets and the New England Patriots. I know fantasy football wise, Drake May has been shockingly good. The Patriots are still expectedly bad though. What do you make of this? This is an interdivision game. The Jets just seem, Aaron Rodgers has gotten everything he's wanted. All his guys, his coach is fired. You got Devontae Adams. What are we thinking of this one? Like, this is 7-point favorite. I almost want to stay away from this one because I'm not sure what to expect out of the Jets.
It's going to be a gross game, right? It could go either way in this one. And I hear you. Rodgers, he's having a tantrum and he's getting everything he wants, but he's allowed to. Look at his status, right? If this was Tom Brady, no one would even blink an eye because, it's Tom Brady. But I do think Aaron Rodgers can do the same. Now, with him getting Devontae Adams, I do expect Devontae Adams to be a bigger target share in today's game. I was looking at him for the anytime touchdown. That's coming in at plus 130. I did sprinkle on him for 2+ touchdowns coming in at plus 100. We know the defense here of New England. I do think the Jets will have success, especially running the ball. I looked at Bryce Hall as well, looking at Bryce Hall over for his 75.5 rushing yards. I looked at his rushing receiving as well, over 110. And then I also altered that rushing number to 90+. I just don't see them coming back from London, having success in this one, except for Hunter Henry. We look at Drake May. That connection with Hunter Henry was fantastic over in London. He went over his receiving props just like into that second quarter. So looking again today, the number is too low. Last week it was 33.5. This week 35.5. I altered it to 50+ receiving yards for Hunter Henry at plus 186.
Ooh, okay. So you know what? Maybe a bad game to watch, but sometimes, like you said, those are some of the more interesting ones to bet on. So we got Devontae Adams anytime touchdown in there. We got Breece Hall over 75.5 rushing yards in that game. And what was the Hunter Henry one? It was over on, was it reception?
Yeah, his receiving yards over. I took it to 50 plus, but you can just take the regular number at 35+.
Nice. We're already at a plus 1,333 ticket, Joe. We're already there.
Yeah.
We are.
We are.
We are heavily invested in this Jet. See, Joe, now we have to watch that Jets Patriots game. What are we doing to ourselves? Now we have to
we don't have to watch it. This can be the corner TV game, right? Because I love the New York Jets and what I thought they were going to be. It's like that narcissistic relationship where you thought they were going to be this person and they just haven't turned out to be it, Andy. So I keep waiting for the New York Jets to look like the team that I expected them to be. Have the defense that's not banged up, that's being able to stop the run that we saw last season. This season has been absolutely brutal. So come on, Jets, stop letting us down.
Well, I'm totally with you. Rick in the chat says over 1.5 field goals. Is that in that Jets Patriots game there, Thunderwolf?
That's a great bet in that game. That's for sure.
That seems like a field goal game, doesn't it?
It's a fantastic one. Gotta love some kicker props.
You mix it in. Boy, this is much more heavily invested in that game than I was anticipating.
It's always the ugly ones, right? You find a way.
It's always the ugly ones. Now, what about this one? This game, I've talked myself in and out of it being over or under this 47.5 point total. Eagles at Bengals. Because, Joe, I saw the Bengals last week. That offense looked crisp. It looked functional. T. Higgins game time decision, so we got to be careful of that. But the Eagles are really up and down. They're on the road, but they have all their weapons back. What's your feeling on this one?
Okay, this one could go either way with that total. I hear you. You look at Nick Sirianni and his road versus home over under record. At home, 70% to that over. On the road, though, 18-11, 62% to the under. So trending strong to the under for Nick Sirianni on the road. I look at the Bengals, and I do think the Bengals can put up some points in this one. I don't trust the Eagles in the first half. This is a team that's getting off to slow starts. I think they're the only team in the league that hasn't scored in that first quarter so far this season, Andy.
Right.
So I played around with a couple of things. I want to stay off that total because if Joe Burrow and company start clicking out here, we know Jalen Hurts can have those big explosive plays, but that plays right into the Bengals defense. Bengals defense actually is so strong at limiting those big offensive plays out there. So their defense has been strong for that. So I looked at first quarter for the Bengals laying 1.5 points in the first quarter at plus 120 and the first half laying 1.5 points at minus 110. I just think they will get off to the hotter start. But at the end of the day, which team do I really trust more? Jalen Hurts and this offense, I think I trust more than the Bengals. Joe Burrow, while he's been able to get those multiple touchdowns on the board and had success, they just keep shooting themselves in the foot. So it's a hard game to put money on.
Yeah, it really is. And like you said, that slow start for the Eagles, which is outrageous. You think no points in the first quarter, which it's just wild. It is a tricky game. I'll say this, and this will be something we'll have to wait for closer to kickoff. If T. Higgins doesn't go, I am absolutely loving the Andre Yosevich anytime touchdown. Because, Joe, last time T. Higgins didn't play, he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I like that.
This guy, I'm telling you, this guy, he is going to take T. Higgins' place when he leaves the Bengals next year as the number 2. So I think that's a nice, if Higgins doesn't go, Yosevich is the play there. We'll add that on to the ticket as well. We'll wait on that one. Let's see what we got next. We got Green Bay and the Green Bay and the Jaguars are interesting. And we're looks like Travis Etienne not going to play. Christian Kirk, part of trade rumors, wide receiver stuff. I think that what I don't understand is why the spread is so low for the Packers. Like 3.5 points. It was 4.5 the other day. Why are we seeing this? Like, isn't this a must for the Packers?
It feels like a trap, right? To lay the points with the Packers here because they should have been a touchdown favorite. But we saw that yesterday in the BYU game versus Central Florida in college football. BYU coming in as the underdog. They should have been the favorite. They were undefeated on the season against 3 and 4 Central Florida teams. So sometimes the books give us lines like this, and a lot of people want to go with, okay, this doesn't make sense. It's a trap game. I'm going against that. I cannot take the Jacksonville Jaguars home off a couple weeks from London. They didn't take a bye week, and now they're going to face Jordan Love out here, who's been phenomenal. I'm taking Jordan Love for his passing touchdowns, over 2.5 passing touchdowns. It's plus 182. I'm also going to take him for 4+ passing touchdowns. That's coming in at plus 600. He was able to do that last week versus his last game versus Arizona and versus Miami. The Minnesota Vikings. So he's been able to hit those 4+ touchdowns in 2 games so far. He's been able to go over the 2.5 in 4 games. So he's been nice and strong out there on the field. I think that you lay the points with the Packers. And if this ends up being the Jags coming out and getting the win, I'll be shaking my head because it makes no sense to me.
No, me too. Like, it's one of those bets, Joe, where you're like, if we're going to be wrong, it's like, okay, you just have to be all right. There's no sense in going the other way, especially too. Jacksonville is not a hard place to play. It's not like some rabid fan base. That's why they go to London so often. Right? Like they got the pool up in the stands and that's about all they got there. So we'll take the Pack to cover and Jordan Love at least over that 2.5. You're saying 3 plus 188. That is a nice little payout for
plus 600 for 4+. He got, he's been able to do it. Houston, I believe he got 3 versus Houston last week. The week before it was versus Arizona that he was able to put up 4. So, and you look at this defense here. This defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars can't stop the pass. There's no way. Jordan Love's going to be throwing that ball up and down. I think he gets it a lot to Romeo Doubs, too. Doubs has a receiving prop. It's low. It's under 50. It's like 47.5. I took that to the over as well. I think Doubs comes out strong. And his touchdown. You're getting almost 2-to-1 to money for his touchdown.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we match up Doubs in there, too, because I have him starting in one of my fantasy lamps. You can do, I think you could do a stack. You could do a Love Reed, and I don't usually like doing a triple stack, especially in DFS, but this could be the rare triple stack where you put Doubs in there as well, because everyone's been eating.
Yeah.
With those 3.
So true.
So, so we're going to pop that in there. Let's look at my poor Browns, Joe. Oh my gosh. This This is why I bring home the Cleveland whiskey here, Joe.
You need that. And that whiskey looks amazing. Did you pour it over ice last night?
You know what? I had it neat. I like it neat better.
Okay.
But it is also a really good mixer. I have this like custom cocktail I make with lemon juice, orange juice, maple syrup, and some bitters.
Oh, yum. So
good. So and that I put over ice. It's really good. You need it as a Browns fan because we got Jameis Winston. Oh yeah, is Jameis going to eat W's? I don't know. I don't think he's going to be eating W's. We got Ken Dorsey calling plays, and the Baltimore Ravens. Like Joe, usually I usually talk myself, even in bad years, I'll talk myself into come kickoff. I'm like, yeah, the Browns can win. This one, I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm hoping the only bet I would take in favor of the Browns is that they cover the 8.5, simply because they've played Lamar Jackson well in the past. They played Derrick Henry well in the past. The defense is the problem, and it's a division game and could be close. But to win, that would be a long shot.
Well, you look at this one divisional game. When was the last time we had to lay this many points with divisional game with the favorite? It just doesn't happen. And one of those rules that you look at is home divisional dogs in a rivalry matchup. You take them plus the points, and it is a hard pill to swallow here. Will Jameis Winston give them enough of a spark offensively to get things done? They could. Now, one thing the Baltimore Ravens do that just absolutely kill you when you're riding with them, especially such a large favorite, is they give up those points in the second half. So I think if you're looking at the Ravens, look at them in the first half. That spread is 5.5, and then go with the Browns for the full game. And I do think it's a prime opportunity for that live betting. Once the Ravens go up, come back in on the Browns plus all the points you can get.
That 5.5 is in the first half. I like that play a lot. And the thing is, like, for the Browns, Jameis is at least going to throw the ball downfield, maybe bring some energy, some joy. It'll be very interesting how that crowd is, because being there last week, Joe, everybody there was like, we're not going back with this. And especially once the players scolded the fans, it's like, all right, not a great look from anybody's angle. It could be an absolute dud, but
and that's the problem, right? Like, you look at how those players came out and defended Deshaun. I never want to see anyone get hurt, and I don't want to put that karma on anyone. And I feel like they were right in defending him. But some of the comments Myles Garrett came out with, and some of these other players, you're like, what world are you living in? Like, seriously, you haven't been in this world. So I don't know. Like, this could be one of those where the betting gods, the football gods go, you guys, you messed up last week. You should just kept your mouth shut and said, we support our quarterback. And that's
it. That would have been fine. You can support the player, but for Myles Garrett to say he's pretty much been a model citizen,
pretty much,
right? That's I don't even know the comparison. Like, pick your, Jeffrey Dahmer, pretty much not a murderer except for all the murders. Like, what the hell?
He didn't eat people with tattoos, or he did. They just didn't taste it, right? I need to get a tattoo on that note. Let's get tattoos.
That's
Abby.
right. Let's get tats just in case.
Just in case.
Like,
that's out there.
It's absolutely wild. So I don't know. I think it'll be very interesting to see what the atmosphere is like, but I'll have the Browns to that. Fantasy football note, Zay Flowers will be a game time decision to play. So keep that in mind there. Couple more. Falcons, Tampa Bay, another division game. 2.5 point favorites are the Falcons. Buccaneers without Evans, without Godwin. Yeah. And Joe, I'm taking for sure. And I was thinking maybe anytime touchdown, but for sure over the receptions, Cade Otton, the tight end. I think this guy's going to eat today with Baker.
Yeah, I love the plays on tight ends. Tight ends absolutely have been cashing for us in the market. So I think that is a really strong way. Baker Mayfield's going to be looking for him. And I don't have a good read of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Every time I bet against Baker Mayfield, he gets a win. So if I tell you I'm betting for the Atlanta Falcons, just double up on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because Baker seems to be my guy that does that to me. It was Brady before when he was with the Patriots, not when he was with the Bucs. But I tell you, Baker, I feel like I can never trust him, and he comes out and shocks me each and every week.
Yeah, he's such an emotional kind of roller coaster, and knowing him as well as we do from with the Browns, coming off the last game, I think this is an upswing game for Baker, especially when he plays well as that underdog. Everyone's against us because the receivers are out. I think it could be a good game for Baker. Over 4.5 receptions, paying -108 for Cade Otton. If there's an alternate spread for 5.5, 6.5, I might even go with that for him.
Yeah, I definitely would because he's going to get his share of the workload today. I really like it.
I think that's going to be a really good play. And I think for Atlanta, kind of your division game, I wouldn't want to bet straight up on this. I think this is a real pick 'em, and the spread says that at 2.5. This is a real close game, so we'll see how that one goes. Let's see. Let's do your Chargers here. Chargers hosting the Saints. Lad McConkey, that hip pointer looks like he's going to play. 7-point favorites are the Chargers, who I think they're still going with Spencer Rattler. I don't think Derek Carr's back.
I don't believe so either. I believe it is Spencer Rattler. So this is a hard one. You want to lay 7 points with the Chargers, who Jim Harbaugh wants to play Big Ten football, which is get the lead and then lock things down. That's so many points to lay here. But the Saints, they came out so strong, Andy, and then they've just fizzled out. This defense seems to not be able to stop anything. I'm looking at a player that I do think will have success. J.K. Dobbins here over his rushing yards, 74.5, and then the anytime touchdown for him. I think you can also look at his longest run. So he's that explosive player because we look at his rushing yards, and when you start to average it out, the number is kind of skewed because he's had 3 huge plays out there on the field. So his longest run is 15.5 yards, and I think he can definitely go over that one.
Oh, okay. So we're doing longest. Let me try to find that one there. I love all the remember when it used to just be like the spread over under and win?
It's no fun.
No fun. Right? I love it. And we're going to go over the 74.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the over 74 as well. Okay. I do think he will get that touchdown. So he's getting so much workload with Gus Edwards out.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so good to see this guy with his career. Oh my gosh. Every time's an injury, and he's just holding up so well this year. Fingers crossed he can continue.
Look at the Chargers in the first half, Andy. This is a team, they're like the Baltimore Ravens. They give up those points in that second half, and that's where you've got to shake your head. But the Chargers make me shake my head all the time. So
we got, you know what, first half spread is paying plus 100 Chargers for 4.5. And you mentioned the start hot and then sort of just hold on strategy. Is that 4.5 at plus 100? Do we like that?
I like that. If you're getting plus 100. Yeah.
Let's do that.
So hopefully they just don't trade back field goals in this first half and then call it a day.
Yeah. Oh, we're at an 11 legger so far, folks. 11 legger. Let's go.
We go.
We got let's see, we got Thunderwolf in the chat. What do you guys think of Bo Nix over 30.5 rush yards versus Carolina? I'm
a strong play. Yeah.
I like
that is a strong play. So I was always looking at Williams, their running back there for over his rushing yards because Carolina can't stop the run. But yeah, Bo Nix is good at scrambling. So that actually might be a better play than looking at Javonte Williams here because his rushing prop is 63.5. 63.
So let's go Bo Nix. And by the way, it looks like poor Bryce Young is back. Ooh, boy. I love the reports too. There was one of the NFL networks, if Bryce Young can play up to his potential, the Panthers have a chance. He hasn't done that his whole career. That's why he's benched for Andy Dalton. It's not going to happen.
Okay. But is this going to be Bryce Young turning into Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold was always someone I was high on. I thought it was poor coaching. Does he need to get out of Carolina and be put with coaches that will lead him to excel? Because I really do think you look at the talent he had in college. Yes, sometimes it just doesn't transfer to the pros, but he had so much talent, right?
He did.
So at some point, that offensive line is absolutely terrible in front of him, though. It just allows him to be destroyed out there on the field. I wouldn't want to play. You imagine standing behind that offensive line?
And that he's so small, you can't see over him. So you got to run. You don't know what's happening. You don't know who's coming at you.
And that's my biggest fear, right? For him, he's too small.
We see the pictures, Joe. And he seems like a great guy. I've said on the show. Interviews seems like a legit nice guy. However, he looks like a 6th grader with his backpack. Let's be honest.
He does. Oh my God, he's so does. Someone needs to make that into a meme.
He's a little fella. He's got his math test. He's ready to go. And it's like, bro, come on. Not going to happen. Not happening for you. Is there a, can we get an interception? I'm trying to see an anytime interception. interception
Oh,
for
both
Bryce
of
Young.
these quarterbacks will throw the interception.
Yeah.
It's like you start looking at these quarterbacks to throw the interceptions, crazy. We should look at some defensive touchdowns, something I haven't gone over yet, but we'll be going over before these games kick off. But we got to look at some strong defenses to get those interceptions today.
So you know what? That Denver defense has played really good. Let's look at a couple defensive props real quick here because I like
those defensive touchdowns are normally about plus 600. We've been cashing on the Minnesota Vikings, being able to do so. So I wouldn't take anything between, maybe Chicago for the defensive touchdown if Marcus Mariota gets a start, even if Jaden Daniels gets a start, but I think he'll be passing the ball off too much. I don't think they'll let it stay in his hands long with that rib issue. So I probably wouldn't take it in that one.
And you know what? It just big picture. If I'm the Commanders, let's not RG3 Jaden Daniels, please. Okay. I know rib different from the knee, but like he can let him sit. This guy's amazing. Let him sit. Marcus Mariota is one of the most capable backups in the game. I think you can win this game with Marcus Mariota.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I totally think so.
He's won a playoff game. Like he's not great, but he's good enough.
He completed 18 of 23 last week for 205 yards, stepping in, cold off the field, never thinking he's going to hit the field, right? Marcus Mariota didn't think he'd come out.
No, you're right. And it's interesting. If he does play, you'll have the first and second overall picks from that draft class, Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota, both starting.
That's crazy.
How about that? Let's do two more, and then we'll let you run because I know you have a packed day on Sports Grid in conversation with Joe Madden from Sports Grid TV. You're going for like 4? You go 4 hours on Sunday, right?
Yeah, 4 hours on Sunday and Saturday.
You're the best. And she's joining us early from Calgary. Come on, she's the best. Okay. Where are we looking? Buffalo Bills, Seattle Seahawks. I think this could be a very fun under the radar shootout. This could be a good one.
Yeah. So it comes down to how much faith do you have in Seattle? Is Seattle a good team or Seattle a bad team?
I think they're like an average team. I think they're like okay who can pop. I think they're kind of in the middle. This is in Seattle too.
This is in Seattle, so you have that noise effect. Because when you look at the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, they dominate against bad teams, right? They struggle against good teams. Against average teams, they're okay, right? They give us some fear. So I think Seattle could get the defensive touchdown today. I think Seattle's going to bring it. We know Josh Allen can turn over that ball. Geno Smith, do I have faith in him here versus the defense of the Bills? I think he's going to make some mistakes out there as well. I could see the defensive touchdown coming for Buffalo. I'm going to play it in both of these. Kenneth Walker, is he 100% to go today? I'm seeing him for all his touchdown props and everything. He was absolutely fantastic. Was it last weekend that it was his birthday? It feels like there's been so many games since last weekend that I question.
I know.
That was the game I'm thinking of, right? Crazy.
He's Kenneth Walker's been awesome. He's getting
3 touchdowns last week, right?
Well, and it's one of the rare cases where he's really getting the bulk share. We see so many committees, but Kenneth Walker's in there. Here's another one. Now, it looks like DK Metcalf has the doubtful sign. I'd be very surprised if he plays. I'm thinking a little Jackson Smith and Jigba today. Now, I don't know if I want to go the anytime touchdown. I'm trying to see the total receptions here. Over 5.5 receptions plus 102. I think that's a good play.
That's a fantastic play.
We're going to pop that in. And I think, again, we go anytime touchdown. You got to go Amari Cooper with the Buffalo Bills. Former Brown. First week. He dropped his first pass. Then he hit Amari Cooper plus 160 anytime. Come on. We're doing that.
What number is he wearing again? Is he wearing Kobe's number? Yeah, there was something about he was wearing someone who passed. I believe it's Kobe's number.
I was at the Browns game last, so we were hearing Cooper. I didn't get to see any of the highlights. We were watching the debacle on the field. So
be interesting.
But he looked good. He instantly became Buffalo's best receiver.
For sure.
So anytime touchdown. We're at a 14-legger, kids. Let's go. Let's do one more.
I love it. Choice, I think Joe. Let's round robin it too. Round robin it for $1. $1 each round.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Why not? We're our Team Jandy special here. Let's get nuts. Let's do it. Let's do one more. What game do you want? We got Chicago. You mentioned the defensive game touchdown Chicago Commanders. We got Chiefs, Raiders. Remember, too, little revenge game. Remember the Raiders had the Kermit the Frog puppet? Patrick Mahomes could be looking for a little revenge. We got Dallas 49ers as well, and Giant Steelers. What's the one more game? Which one do you want to do?
There's some gross games out here. I think you look at tight ends today. Brock Bowers for the Las Vegas Raiders. That's where I'd be putting my money on them. I would look at his receptions and receiving yards to the over. I think that is a strong suit. I can't bet against the Chiefs. You look at Patrick Mahomes and everyone starts talking about how Mahomes is not good as a 3 or more point favorite. But if you start breaking down over the last 2 seasons, it was prior to the last 2 seasons that he hasn't been able to cover that spread, because he's gone 9-6-1 over the last 2 seasons against the spread, more than a 3-point favorite. So that narrative that we all keep hearing, that you got to just bet against Mahomes when he's a favorite of more than 3, it's gone out the window. It really has. So you're right. They could look for payback. The Raiders look an absolute mess, but I do trust Brock Bowers to get something done. And so then the Cowboys
6.5.
6.5. Yeah, I'd take it.
Receptions,
over 6.5.
We'll pop 6.
Cowboys 49ers. Which team is going to look worse out here? Man, this is a hard one. I want to take the Cowboys plus the points, but if I take the Cowboys plus the points and the 49ers come out and destroy off that terrible loss, like, look at the 49ers schedule. You got to feel for them. They've got Casey off a bye. Now the Cowboys off a bye. Everyone is out. I don't know who Brock Purdy is going to get this ball to, right? They're saying Debo's in, but he was dealing with pneumonia.
Yes.
He looked awful on the sidelines. He's a decoy out there. Don't take Debo.
I think you're right. I think you're right with Debo. And he had another injury. He had like an injury and that pneumonia. Kittle is in, which is good. I think not more of a fantasy play. Like I kind of like a little Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall today. I wouldn't want to bet on their receptions or yards, though. It's a little too skewed still, but like fantasy wise, I think they could pop a little bit. Okay, so Cowboys 49ers 4.5 for the Niners. Yeah.
Gross. Is Micah Parsons going to be in the lineup for the Cowboys? If Micah Parsons in the lineup for the Cowboys, I think we got to ride the Cowboys plus the points. But if there's no Micah, I'm not going to do it. You look at Mike McCarthy off a bye, he's right below Andy Reid. He's gone 12-5 all-time straight up and 3-1 against the spread.
And Rick's putting Ken Walker over 64.5 rushing yards. Yes, we like that. Definitely going with that. Okay, so let's see what this adds up to. Okay, Joe, so we got, all right, parlay party, 15 legger. Okay, 15 legs, the payout plus, is this 130? I can't even read the damn number. It's a lot. If we put $10 on, Joe, if we hit this, $10 wins us $136,283. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, same deal as last time. If this hits, then we're flying you out to Cleveland, and me and you will do a show from Johnny's Little Bar, one game this season, okay?
Sweet. Sounds good.
We got 15 legger. Joe, tell people where they can find you. Like we said, you're going to be on 4 hours, so you're everywhere.
Yeah, over on SportsGrid TV. So if you're looking where to watch it, just go to www.sportsgrid.com/watch, or just download the app. You can actually find it over there on the app as well. But we're across so many platforms, Andy. And if you really want to hear me talk for 4 hours, that's where you're going to find me. Energy Pocket with Joe right away as well. 4 games on the ice that will be kicking off at noon Eastern here.
You are a grinder. We love it. Thank you, Joe, so much. Love having you on.
Thanks for having me, and send me a copy of that bet slip so I can tail it as well.
Yes. Okay. I got the visual. We'll send that out there. We'll post it, and we'll see what the hell happens.
Awesome. Let's go. Thanks, guys.
See you, Joe. Thank you. There she goes. Joe Madden from SportsGrid TV. She's the best. Oh yeah, guys. We're going 15 legs. Who's with me? Even like what's a $2 bet for fun? $2 is 27,000. Holy cow. All right. Why the hell not? We'll do it. Hey, you just got to be right once, right? You just got to be right once when it comes to these big ones. Oh, I love the parlay party. We're going to be doing, by the way, in the probably next week or the week after, Stadium Mustard t-shirt giveaway. Just a heads up on that. And by the way, folks, we're talking betting all the time. Where are you going to bet? Well, you're going to bet on the DraftKings Sportsbook. TD, Tutty in for 6. Touchdowns matter more. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We don't care how they score them. We want to bet on touchdowns. And DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, make your pick, and you can pick something like, well, for the Browns game, maybe David Njoku for a TD connecting with Jameis Winston. They did it last week. Cedric Tillman, perhaps. You can try out whatever you want on the anytime touchdown or any of the other bets that we made on the show today as well. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when using the code SICKSPORTS. That's code SICKSPORTS for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
There you go, kids. We're all ready to go for the DraftKings Sportsbook. Now to some fantasy football. We're going to do Ask Andy in a sec. Let's just see if there's any injury update stuff coming in. Hassan Reddick playing for the Jets. This guy's pulling something after missing the year. I freaking guarantee it. What a disaster the Jets are. Reddick there. Nothing imminent. It doesn't seem like that we didn't talk about before. Bryce Young back. Oh, I love Xavier Legette, but with Bryce Young, I can't put him in. Even without Adam Thielen, even without Deontay Johnson. I can't do it. Because I don't know if Bryce Young can get anyone the damn ball, right? And we got some questions, and you can get your fantasy football questions either in the live chat. We got in the on YouTube, the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. Subscribe, notifications on. Raul Havana says, sign Cody Kessler. Trust me on this one. Damn you, Raul. No. 15 baby carrots, Cody Kessler for the Browns. I would take Cody Kessler over Deshaun Watson right now. I would. Hell of a lot cheaper. And I can get no touchdowns and no wins with Cody Kessler just fine. Remember that year, Hugh Jackson. They had all quarterbacks without an NFL win. Thought those days were behind us. Oh, well. But get your fantasy football questions in the live chat or on social media, on X, at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81, Instagram as well, at AndyMCSports. Let's get that hashtag Ask Andy. Let's go. Let's bring up Rick first in the YouTube chat there. If you got that, Shane. There we go. Bo Nix versus Carolina or Jared Goff versus Tennessee. Well, I think you're in great shape either way. I'm going to say Bo Nix. Slight edge to Bo because you get the rushing angle, right? And if he hits that 30.5 rushing yards we were talking about, we're looking real good. Jared Goff has been so underrated. So I think you're good either way. But in this particular scenario, Bo Nix versus the Carolina Panthers. I think their defense is going to be worn out a lot because Bryce Young's going to be off the field. 3 and outs quite quickly. So go with that. Denver defense as well. If you can get them all day. Let's bring up the ones on X. I think we got a few on there. What do we got? We got at Christians on C. Chad says, is Gibbs worth, so Jamar Gibbs of the Lions, worth trading my first round pick in next year's draft for? Standard scoring league, keeper league. My current starting running backs are Barkley, Kamara, Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams are unavailable via trade. Can keep Gibbs for my third next year. I would just keep Gibbs. Because is he worth trading my first round pick? I wouldn't trade him for a first round pick because you still have David Montgomery sitting there. Got an extension, very much a part of that Lions defense. Now, both have been doing quite well fantasy wise. So I wouldn't go that second or third round seems about right for Gibbs. So I would, if you can just keep him for your third, do it. If you can get him, if it's a first round pick, I'd shy away with the guys you got. You have a little bit of an older running back crew, of course, with Barkley, Kamara, and Henry, but Williams is still hot. So yeah, second or third round pick would be my take on Gibbs. Let's get to another hashtag Ask Andy. We got Pedro, our buddy Pedro in Calgary, just like Joe's out in Calgary. Pedro's there too. Dowdle, Irving, or Madison for a non-PPR RB spot. Injuries AF on my team. Hashtag Ask Andy. I feel you, Pedro. Oh, so non-PPR, I think actually might work better for Irving because he's not a pass catcher. Track it. If Irving does play, and again, it's with his toe, it's trending that he should, but you got to watch right up to kickoff. If he's a go and isn't going to be limited, you can play Irving because we've seen Irving and we've seen Rachaad White. And we've seen a third running back come in too, and all have been doing well. And there should be more opportunity to run, catch out of the backfield, just get more touches with Evans out and with Godwin out. So I think you go with Irving there. If he is not, then go with Dowdle, I guess. I think Dowdle and Madison's a bit of a wash, but hopefully Irving's healthy and you get him in. Like I said earlier, I got in one league, White and Irving going if Irving's healthy. So I got both of them in there. Okay, let's get to another. Joey Webb at Joey Wheeler, 85 in a TE pickle. It's either Kittle or Andrews. So Andrews versus the Browns. The mix in of Isaiah Likely has really kind of handcuffed Andrews' upside. Now, he can still go off. He can also very much not. If Zay Flowers doesn't play, you like Andrews a little bit more, but he could. Browns defense traditionally has had trouble handling tight ends. I think Kittle, though. No Brandon Ayuk, and Debo, he's got to be more of a decoy in limited reps there. Kittle is going to be in, so let's go with Kittle. Joey Webb uses hashtag Ask Andy. Let's get to another one here. Oh, there we go. Ricky Pearsall versus Dallas. Ooh. Or Jalen McMillan versus Atlanta. Ooh. Rick, I like that question. That's good. Boy, you know what? Two guys who are projected to do well today, but we haven't seen it. We got a little taste of Ricky Pearsall last week, the 49ers. Jalen McMillan, the rookie, a lot of potential. The coach said they want to increase his workload versus Atlanta. Boy, oh boy. You know what? If I'm feeling it, and I think Kate Otton's going to get a lot of looks. You have Sterling Shepard. Let's look at this here. So Ricky Pearsall. You got Kittle. There's no Ayuk. You got Juwan Jennings. Debo's going to be a decoy. I'm going to say I'm going to lean slightly Ricky Pearsall. I think McMillan could also have a good day, but this is a case as well where we could be making the same argument if you put Sterling Shepard in there. We could be making the same argument for Trey Palmer. So there's a few more ifs that we don't know how the ball is going to be distributed by Baker without Evans and Godwin. So that's where my hesitation is there. I have McMillan in one of my fantasy lineups. I think he could have a good day. But out of the two, let's go Ricky Pearsall. Slight edge Ricky Pearsall there. It's close. It's a close one, but I think I think that's the play there. There wasn't, I just want to make sure we're up to date on any of the injury reports here. I think let's see. Steelers added Justin Fields hamstring to the injury report. All right. Yeah, they'll do Russell Wilson anyway. Stupid Steelers keep winning. Bastards. God, can't stand them. Okay, so one more reminder. Tonight we're going to do the draw. If you are going to be in the Cleveland area this Wednesday, Wolstein Center, downtown Cleveland, and you're a wrestling fan, All Elite Wrestling, AEW, Fright Night. Halloween special. The card is stacked for Dynamite. It's going to be an unbelievable show. I got 2 tickets to give away. We got 2 tickets to give away. All you got to do, the pinned post on X at SickPod Browns, at AndyMCD1, but it's pinned on SickPod Browns. The instructions are all there. You just follow me at AndyMCD1, follow at AEW, tag 2 friends, retweet. You're good to go there. That's how you enter. We'll do the draw tonight. So if you know anyone who's going to be there, you want to go, whatever, enter there because it's going to be a fantastic show. Our buddies at AEW, we're going to interview wrestler Chris Statlander. She is one of the top female wrestlers in the business. We're going to talk to her Tuesday live from Cleveland on the show. So just keep that all in mind there. If you want to enter, that'd be great. But there you go, folks. We're going to get ready for kickoff. Keep an eye. There are a few of those cases. You got to keep an eye on your fantasy team. See the start sits, or rather the injury report right up, to like 12:45-ish, okay? Because people could be pulling stuff. If we think of Bucky Irving, there's a few other players as well. T. Higgins is another big one. Keep an eye on DK Metcalf. So keep an eye on that. But any other fantasy football or betting questions, hashtag Ask Andy. If you want to see that betting slip, I'll put that up there, and we'll get that up on X at SickPod Browns and tag Joe as well. But thank you so much to Joe Madden, a Sports Grid, producer Shane, to all of you. Hey, maybe the Browns can pull off a miracle. Let's go beat those Ratbirds. I'm not sure how you're going to do it, but let's see if we can do it. I'm Andy McNamara. Thanks for watching. As always, go Browns!
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.